Welcome to the Family First Retirement Podcast with George Politarhos. For more information, visit betrayawealth.com. Now, let's get to the show.
George, how'd the week treat you? How's your weekend treating you? How you feeling?
You know what? I'm doing great, Mark. Some crazy new bills passed out there can affect some of our retirement, brother.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show this weekend because we are going to break down the big, beautiful bill and kind of talk about the pros and the cons and the misconceptions. But before we get there, George Politarhos, we've talked about it for the past couple of weeks, the awesome golf tournament you have coming up.
Oh, yes.
Bets for Vets golf tournament, Monday, August the 25th at Rock Manor Golf Course. Get more information on the Betray Wealth Group social media. Of course, the website, betrayawealth.com, or by calling 302-330-2166. And George, last week, I was booking my flight. We're very transparent here. I'm in Atlanta. You're obviously up in Wilmington. So I went to book my flight. Cannot wait to come see you. Cannot wait to be a part of this event. Atlanta to Wilmington, then flight back home, Wilmington to Atlanta. Problem is, I put Wilmington, North Carolina.
You know what I think this is? A prime example of your hat being too tight on that big head of yours. What the hell are you thinking about?
So unless you are now hosting your tournament in North Carolina, I need to make some phone calls and maybe
you need to fly into Philadelphia, my friend.
Because
and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, not Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Yeah, there's a Philadelphia.
I know you may be confused. I understand that.
There's one
You're
there
special,
too.
Mark.
Because
you
the problem is because we always talk every weekend. You serve Wilmington, New Jersey, Maryland, Dover, and so I'm just thinking Wilmington because it's just muscle memory.
Mm-hmm. I get it. I
mean, look, you have clients all across the country. You may have some in Wilmington, North Carolina. I don't know.
I do. Absolutely. Huge Marine base down there, as a matter of fact.
See?
Great. Yes.
But that's
if you want to go there, Mark, I'll come down. We'll play golf together halfway. How about that? Not for the golf outing to help our veterans local, but to make Mark not feel small. How about that?
FaceTime me the day of and let me know how it's going.
You are such a twit. Oh, my God bless you.
So I cannot wait to see you.
Oh, my God.
At your house when we finally get all the travel. The good news is, in the area, you don't have to fly. You can drive out to Rock Manor Golf Course. We're inviting everybody to come out, all for a great cause. It took me like 4 days to recognize it. I'm like, I was on the fence about telling you because I'm like, I'm never going to hear the end of this damn thing. Bets for Vets.
I would never pick on you, Mark.
You're
never.
Monday, August the 25th. It's getting here. Really looking forward to this. It's going to start filling up here. It's already starting to fill up, and we're always looking for sponsors and volunteers. More information, 302-330-2166 or betrayawealth.com, P-A-T-R-I-A wealth.com. And George, you just mentioned it. The big, beautiful bill was passed. A lot of drama behind it, but it was officially signed. Now, let's talk about it. The misconceptions, the pros and the cons, George.
They passed this big, beautiful bill, and they call it the OBBA, which is the Omnibus Big, Beautiful Bill Act. Not all great, not all bad. And I think this really, Mark, in my opinion, this shows what government is supposed to do. Because a deal, a compromise is compromise. I'm not real happy with everything, and you're not real happy with everything, but we can live with it together. So I think that's what's really important about this. Let's talk. There's really 4 areas that you need to address about this, and it's still coming out, folks, so things are still changing and rolling. Retirement account changes, tax provisions, federal spending, and health care. Let's look at retirement. We're talking about retirement planning here at Betray Wealth and Family First Retirement. The RMD ages, that's called the required minimum distributions. Now, if you're born before 1959 or earlier, your RMD age is 73. If you're born 1960 and beyond, it jumps to 75. So what's that mean? Well, I get to have my money in a qualified account, so an IRA, a 401k, a 403b, a 457, and not have to touch it if I'm born at 1960 and beyond until I'm age 75. So it gets to build more over those next 2 years before you must take money out of it. Problem is, when they do, they're going to pull more money out. Higher percentage will have to come out, and you have to pay tax on the money. No big deal, but I get more control.
Okay.
They increased, there was a speculation about retirement accounts that they were going to cancel something known as a back backdoor Roth provision. And what is that? Well, a Roth is a qualified account, like a 401k, but you put the money into that account after taxes. So you pay tax on it today, and then the money goes into a Roth, and it grows over time. When you use that money, A, you have no requirement of distribution, and B, it's all clear and free. It's yours. But there are some earning limitations for higher earning individuals.
Is this something that everybody should be talking to you about the opportunities for a Roth conversion? Is it very beneficial for your overall retirement strategy, or maybe something that just the pre-retirees, maybe a couple of years out, to take advantage of it?
No, I think the sooner we get working with this, the longer it's going to be more beneficial. So it's a great thing to start talking about once you hit that magical number, 59.5.
Okay.
And I said magical because, A, if I have a traditional IRA or a 401k, and I start to move money out before 59.5, if I'm still working, there's tax obligations. There's penalties. They didn't get rid of the penalties, folks. We still have penalties. After 59.5, we just work within the normal tax structure, and we do it in stages, Mark. Nothing's done in a lump sum.
Okay.
I would never take $200,000 and convert it today for a client or a family member because the tax I'd pay on that is so much because of the large volume. But sooner better, absolutely. And the advantage to having that backdoor Roth is, folks, you have this money put away. And we don't know anything. We know we have to pay taxes, and we're going to die eventually, right? That's two things we can't get away from.
True.
But if we can start converting this money into a Roth, paying our taxes today, it gives us that generational wealth we get to pass on to our children, helping our kids. Think about this, Mark. You're 80 years old, 85 years old, and you pass away. You're no spouse is deceased. The money, more than likely, not always, but more than likely, is going to go to my children or grandchildren. Well, if I'm 80, my sons are going to be 50. They're in the prime earning years of their careers, probably, right? They're in a high tax bracket, that 37% tax bracket. Now they get this money, and it's a qualified account. What happens? They lose a lot of it to taxes. By making that Roth conversion, I get to do generational wealth, pass on to my children and my grandchildren, with no tax obligation for them. How perfect is that? Because in my world, what I work at is, obviously I care about my wife, Leslie. She's everything. But I care how we're going to transfer our wealth to Alex, Jared, and Archer. That's my concern in life. And by doing these Roth conversions, we can set that up to make a simple transaction for them, a transfer, along with some other ideas that we work with clients. If you're thinking about that, give me a call at 302-330-2166, and let's see if that's right for you, because, folks, it's not right for everybody. This is not a big box firm where if you're this age, you fit into this box and we slide you down the assembly line. It doesn't work that way at Betrayal Wealth Group because, Mark's going to get mad at me, we all have different size shoes.
Oh, here we go.
I have a size 15 shoe, and Mark is in a size 6. So, yeah, please.
Hold my shoe up.
So it's right for me is not right for him. He's lifting his foot up to me and showing me his foot.
I think I pulled a hand.
But that's what's so important, making sure this fits right for you. Another thing that they really did is that they now made it more of an advantage for companies to match your Roth 401k contributions, which I think's a huge plus that we need to do.
So with this big, beautiful bill, and we were talking about backdoor Roth. So what are you hearing about that, or what are some of the changes that could happen to the backdoor Roth?
We have it still open. It has not been closed down. There's speculation. They were talking about getting rid of this.
Okay.
And you think about it, the people making this big, the large money who don't qualify to put into a Roth, now they're letting them, you can put this in today and then move it tomorrow into a Roth, you're ready to go. You still have a 5-year rule for a Roth account before you start using the money. And what that means is from the day the first dollar goes into a Roth account, a clock starts to tick. And as long as that first dollar's there, we can wait 5 years before we can start using our money with no tax implication. If you do it before, folks, there is a tax implication.
Okay.
The second thing I think is really important is how we treat our seniors. And one of the things that President Trump was pushing for was no taxation on Social Security for our seniors. They worked around it pretty well. They couldn't pass that through. But what they did for individuals that are 65 plus on Social Security, individuals get $6,000, couples get up to $12,000 of a tax credit to help offset that. That's a nice little way to help work around this taxation. Because the way the law is today, if I'm a married couple filing jointly, if our provisional income on taxes, and which includes adjusted gross income from prior year tax return, half of your Social Security payment that you receive, also any wages that you earn, and something called untaxed interest, which usually is referring to a municipal bonds. Adding those numbers up together, if I'm married filing jointly, and that number is $34,000 or less, the way it is today, none of your Social Security is taxed.
Okay.
$34,000 to $44,000, half of your Social Security is taxable income, and above that $44,000, up to 85% of your Social Security can be considered taxable income. So what they've done is now they're giving you $12,000 for a married couple as a tax credit at the end of the year to help offset that expense. We have a lot of seniors that are already do not pay Social Security as a country.
Right.
But the portion of people that do pay that, it's the middle class to upper middle class, will have a substantial savings for us. So that's a huge positive. Side note, it expires in 3 years until they can try and redo something better.
Okay.
So let's take advantage of that.
Yep.
Everything we talk about today on Family First Retirement, you really need to look at it and understand the pros and cons. This is not place it and forget about it, folks.
Yeah. Set it and forget it.
This is, set and forget. Thank you. It is not a DIY. You really need to sit down and speak with a financial professional who can go over these for you. Make sure we understand how we're going to benefit from this, because we have a window of opportunity. We have an opportunity to get in a better place. Let's take care of it. Let's work together to make sure you understand this. You have to understand how this is going to work. Give me a call, 302-330-2166, or go to Patria Wealth, Patria Wealth.com. And let's start the conversation together, see how we're going to work this out.
Talking about some of the misconceptions, the pros and the cons, a lot of the conversation about the big, beautiful bill. All of this is not going to affect you today, but it very well could affect you tomorrow. I think that's one of the big points that George is trying to get across this weekend, is to come in and sit down. Let's talk about the opportunity for a Roth. What changes need to be made about your Social Security as well? And George, another big one I know you're about to jump into, Medicaid and Medicare, because depending on what news channel you watch, some people say it's going away and everybody's going to lose their Medicaid or Medicare. And some people are saying there's some new benefits coming. What are you hearing?
The misinformation. Am I wearing a blue shirt or a red shirt? Are there cuts to Medicare and Medicaid? There are some reductions. Absolutely. Hey, folks, you're on Medicaid, which is run by the state, but it's federally funded. About 70% of that money comes from the federal government. If you are eligible to work, you're able to work, you got to work. You got to earn it. Is it going to hurt some people? I think it's going to hurt some people. I really do. But this is the questions you come up with, especially with the Medicare windows and changes. You really need to give us a call, 302-330-2166, and let's talk, have you set up work with Angie. Angie's our Medicare specialist in the office. She knows all the bells and whistles. She's hard at work getting all this down right now. Let's take advantage of it. Let's stop thinking about what's that called? The telephone game when you're a little kid, Mark? You said today is 23rd. By the time I got back around to me after the circle, it's the cat has 5 legs.
Right.
Let's figure out the truth about this. Get rid of the middleman and speak to someone that works in this atmosphere every day, because it's important to us. It really is. And we're going to help you get through that. But give us a call, 302-330-2166.
Hey, real quick, George, I want to give a cheap plug to the Family First Retirement Podcast. You can find it across all podcast platforms or the homepage at PatriaWealth.com, Patria, PatriaWealth.com. In that podcast, if you're just getting into this weekend show, you can find this weekend show, plus a full archive of episodes, plus some specialty conversations with Angie, having a deep conversation about Medicaid and Medicare. Really informative conversation with Angie. You can hear that again in the Family First Retirement Podcast, available across all podcast platforms or at PatriaWealth.com. All right, George, what else are you seeing?
Another big reduction or change in this was the SALT cap deduction from your taxes.
All right, talk to me like a third grader here, because I keep hearing
not
salt,
pepper.
salt. So what is it? What's going on?
It stands for state and local tax. So some states have a huge state and local tax burden. California, Illinois, New York, New Jersey are off the chart. Under the Trump administration, the plan we had going up to now, you could only write off up to a maximum of $10,000. Now, my buddy Mario lives up in Westchester, New York, who I love. His taxes on his house,
pretty bad.
I keep telling him you got to get the heck out of there, are like $39,000 a year. It's a nice house. It ain't that damn nice. All right?
Yeah.
So he could only write off up to 10. Now, the new limit gives you up to $40,000 that you can write off. It's a big plus, big addition. And that, once again, it's only good at that level up to 2029, and then it will start to reduce. Do you see a trend here? They have things in place for 3-4 years, and then they start to reduce. So you have to really be aware of this. See how we can use what we have today to get a better future in 4, 5, and 20 years down the road.
Right.
One thing they did make permanent is the tax brackets that Trump initiated originally in 2017. They have stayed in place.
So those are, and we've talked about it a million times here on Family First. Those are the Trump tax cuts, and it looks like those will continue.
Absolutely. Okay. So once you get above that 24% tax bracket, it actually, your tax cost actually goes up. People say, oh, the top earners in the country get all these tax breaks. Your taxes actually are going up for the 24% tax bracket and beyond.
Okay.
Just so we're on the same page. I know people like to say, oh, yeah, bills go one way only for one. It's not working that way in this case, folks. So just be made aware of that. And I truly think about this, Mark, and this is maybe more than we should talk about on the radio, but the way our government runs right now, we kind of have to cut about $1.7 trillion out of spending to get us even, not reduction, even. So the way things are currently, the government's borrowing about 25 cents of every dollar we're borrowing every day to pay our bills. So if we can cut 1.7 trillion, we get even, where everything balances. Doesn't reduce that huge tax bill of, what, $37 trillion, whatever that mind-boggling number is. But the things they're trying to do are reduce this and help get us back on a more balanced schedule. I think it goes back to making people accountable for their actions, is what it comes to. You know, if you're sitting there and you're unable to work physically, I think my job as a Christian in a society is help take care of you. But if you're sitting there milking the system, getting paid Medicare, Medicaid, and you don't want to work, but you want everything for free, that doesn't work in this, with me at least. Agreed. So this is something to make people more accountable for their actions. Another big change here is that a lot of electric benefits you get for buying electric cars
the EV,
are gone.
EV vehicles.
EV credits will be gone. And I've seen a couple different places, either September 30th or December 31st, that would be gone. And the big thing, folks, you buy Tesla, you buy these electric car company stocks, right? They are not able to make money off selling their credits for their electrical credits they get. That's where they make their money. Tesla's not making money selling Tesla GT53s, whatever the heck the car is. They make money selling these credits on the electricity they produce. That's going away too. So I think you're going to see some changes to be made aware of.
Do you think that
Call me at 302-330-2166 and let's talk about the craziness and how to get around this properly.
Do you think that was just a subtle jab at Elon now that Trump and Elon are feuding?
That was in the books before they started feuding. Maybe that led to them to feud. I still think Elon did a great job with Doge. I wish we cut more money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at usdebtclock.org right now. And at this moment, over $37 trillion in debt. And Doge has saved us.
Pennies between friends.
Doge has found, I don't want to say saved us, found over almost $550 billion.
I think what it does is it makes us more aware of what our government's wasting.
100%.
That's the biggest thing. Getting back to this big, beautiful bill, there are some cons. Cons are complexity. It's confusion. Like anything the darn government does, folks, it's not written in English for us, right? It's all these word after pages. I'm still reading through the bill trying to get some more information together. Future debt concerns are a big concern. You know, we talk about Social Security and the likelihood that Social Security will be insolvent in 2032. This does not necessarily help solve that problem. That's still a concern and still a problem for us in the future. And we need to be made aware of it and to keep that in our mind. I'm going to say this a lot over the next couple months. You cannot DIY this. You cannot put it in place and forget about it. You need to work with someone that does it every day, can help you be in the right place possible.
And one more, George, before we kind of put a bow on this conversation about the pros and the cons and the misconceptions of the big, beautiful bill, an opportunity to start a savings account for the kids.
Yeah, it's great.
What's going on with that?
They call it the Trump accounts,
okay,
which is nice. It's a forced way to start saving money for our grandchildren, i.e. Archer Politarhos. Mm-hmm. Leslie and I already started that before this, but it gives them up to between $500 and $1,000 to start savings account for these kids for college tuition. That's a huge plus, and you got to take advantage of it. More information to follow because this is a changing, evolving plan. It's so big that we have to understand it. We don't want to have the same mistakes in life like the Obamacare plan that was shoved through. No one read the darn thing. So how can you make a choice? This is so big. No one, we didn't read it all. We have highlights in here. And depending on the avenue of where you're getting information from, they're giving you your spin. Mm-hmm. The job of myself and my team at Betrayal Wealth is to inform, enlighten, and educate you on all these things, plus your retirement planning. I think the last thing we need to leave here, Mark, with is the what you should do checklist. Folks, you need to have a checklist. You're going on vacation, you have a checklist what you're bringing. You're going to retirement, you better have a checklist about how to plan for retirement. But about this new bill, how it affects you, you need to, A, rerun your income projections. Let's look and see where you're at, because the way it was a year ago, 2 years, may not be the way it's going to be tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We need to revisit that Roth conversion timing, seeing how much we do every year. We're going to do a pro forma tax return to see what the actual cost will be to do these conversions. And does it make sense for you in your situation? You need to look at the Medicare impact. Talk with Angie. Come in the office. Let her go through this and make sure you understand the pros and cons of Medicare, supplements, Advantage. What's the right plan? And really track your SALT Advantage. SALT is a huge thing for us. And for our small business owners out there, there's a SALT workaround that you can use. We'll help you show you how to take advantage of this. Plan more accordingly for your retirement because you are the backbone of America, the small businesses. Let's be realistic,
Amen.
Mark.
Amen.
You're the people that go to work every day. Maybe don't take a paycheck. Mm-hmm. Maybe, because you have people you're responsible for, but you are what drive the country. There are some rules and some ways we can work with this to help benefit you and your family in the long run. Give me a call at 302-330-2166 or stop by the office at 501 Silverside Road, Wilmington, 19809.
Insurance and annuities offered through George A. Politarhos, Delaware Insurance License Number 1373121. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.